Okay everyone, so we are in the long-awaited Tech Talk 003 segment, going over the actual process of what it is we do, how we edit, and step by step walk with you throughout the start of a project to the end of a project. Now in our previous talks, we've talked about planning for your shoots, we've talked about what cameras you should use, and etc. So today we're going to start off in Premiere Pro. That's the editing software that we use to edit. And as you'll notice here, I'll have my Ronin Tech Talk footage, which is some footage that we got previously with the awesome Martha Salaya, aka Martha Socks. She went ahead and she was a great sport. She helped us out. She was our model for the day. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going through the entire process from music selection, clip selection, and all that. So be sure and stick with us throughout this video, guys. We hope it's helpful, and we'll go from there. Okay, so you open up Premiere Pro. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna set up a new project. Now you name your project, you have wherever it is that you wanna save it, you name your project. I'm gonna name mine Ronin Tech Talk 003, okay? From here, you'll have a new project set up, and then you can go ahead and begin. Now, before we do anything, we want to create a sequence. What creating a sequence does is it sets out it basically gives you a visual representation of what the final export is going to look like, what the final video is going to look like. So you can do horizontal, you can do vertical, whatever platform you're using it for. Now, for the purposes of today's video, we shot everything horizontally, so we're going to be doing a 16:9 aspect ratio. So we're going to go to sequence, we're going to go to File, New, Sequence, and then you have a whole bunch of presets here. I use the 1080p, and then I go to DSLR 1080p 24 frames per second. And so I'm going to rename my sequence Tech Talk 003 Edit. Boom, it's now created. And so now I can start to dump in clips, dump in music, whatever I'm gonna use to make the video, dumping sound effects, whatever I'm gonna use to make this video. So moving forward, what I'll do first is I already have a song selected that I'm gonna use. It's called Larry the Unicorn. It's pretty cool, got it off of Soundstripe. This is not sponsored by them in any way, by the way. It's just so you guys know. But it's gonna be the track that I'm gonna be using today. Now, personally, I like to go over the audio first. I choose the best parts of the song, I clip it, I cut it the way that I want it to sound, and then I'll start dumping in clips. So I'm gonna do that right now. I won't take you guys through the entire process, but I'm gonna do that right now, cut it up and clip it up so that you guys can go ahead and give it a listen. So I know where I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start it right here, and I'll bring it up over here. Now, usually we stick to the 1 minute rule. We don't want our projects to be longer than a minute. So I just set up a marker for myself. Right here, that's about right. There you go, that's a minute. So I'll come over here to my marker tool, or you can just hit M. It'll add a marker and it'll let you know, okay, that's your minute mark. You can't go past that. I don't like to go past that simply because you want your audience to be there. You don't want them there for too long because you'll lose their attention spans. Also, it depends on the type of medium that you're going to be communicating on. If you're going to be on Instagram or stuff like that, you want to make sure that keep it short, sweet, to the point. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be short, sweet, and to the point. The concept that we wanted to go over this was more of a kind of just an abstract video. It's just a model walking around and she's enjoying the sun on her, like she's sunbathing, and we did it at golden hour, so that's one thing that we really wanted to make sure is that we did it in a good lighting. Goes to planning your shots. We planned our shots around that time, and the cool thing about this video, and the main reason why we wanted to do this, is because all of it was shot with an iPhone 10. So we want to let you guys know that you don't have to have the best camera, you don't have to have the most expensive camera. You can use your phone and you can make some really cool stuff. So we're going to be showing you guys that today, and I'm just going to start diving right in with my footage. So I have my footage over here. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my other screen so you guys can see it. I have my footage over here, and I like to go through every clip first and then start selecting what I want to use. So first of all, I'll choose this, just one clip. This was over there in Westico, and we found this really cool building with a whole bunch of architectural things that we thought were interesting. And so I'll play through the clip, see if I like it. Now this one is kind of crooked. You can see there that there's no it's not straight. The horizon is sideways. But I mean, I might end up using it. It might have a cool little effect for it to be sideways. So I'll go ahead and mark it. I'll go ahead and mark that. And then this is the second take. There were some people behind there, so we're not going to use that shot. This is the third take of that one shot. Nope, not that one either. This is take 3. So we're really showing that architecture, panning down to her, looking at our movement. She's just looking forward, playing with her hair. Boom. That's also another potential shot that we can use. What else do we have? We have the second shot where we start there and we just have her walk. Another thing I'd like to add is that yes, it was shot with an iPhone. However, the shots are really steady because we used a DJI Osmo, which is a stabilizer for your iPhone. Honestly, I don't think it's more than $200. You can find them used on eBay, and they do their job. So I'm still going to be going through this footage and then just make sure that I choose the clips that I want to use. And then I'll start dumping them in and start messing with my timeline. Okay everybody, so now you can see the entire video is sequenced. It's got effects, it's got sound effects, everything that's going to make this an awesome video. I'm going to play the video once for you guys so you guys can see the final product, and then go over some of the things that I did to make this video. Alright, so for the most part, that's the entire video. I'm gonna start off with a few basic things. Obviously the clips are cut to the music, and I mean, as simple as it might be, it's kind of difficult to kind of say, okay, well, what piece of the clip am I gonna use? How do I want it to fit in the video, etc., etc. So the way that we do that is when you're gonna import a clip, let's say this first clip, this clip right here, it's 1095, go over here to my product bin, right here, 1095, we'll play it back. This is a clip. You would insert it, you'd insert it on your timeline. Now for this video, we don't need the audio. Now it's weird because I'm kind of trying to move things around so they fit where I want them to fit. But right here, 1095, right? Okay. So I have shortcuts on my mouse. Basically, it's the C tool and the V tool are the ones that basically let you select and cut. Obviously the C tool is to cut. If I get that little razor blade, it's also right here. And the V tool is to select. So right now I want to go ahead and select the part of the clip that I'm using. And so I'm using around right here. I will cut right here, come over here, drag it where I want it to be, and then boom, cut right there. Now on the next part of the clip is, you'll notice that this clip plays back at full speed, and so it's also really zoomed in as a comparison to this shot right here. The reason for that is because number one, we shot in 4K, and the number two, we shot at 60 frames per second. So we shot at a higher frame rate and we shot at 4K for better dynamic range and for the ability to slow down our clips. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to bring down the size over here in your effect controls, and I'm going to scale this down to 50 because 50 is where it's at. We're exporting in regular HD. So now it looks the same, but it's also really fast. As in, like, if you see that clip, she's moving super slow. So what we're gonna do is you're going to right click on this FX, you're gonna go to time remapping, speed, and then now you can slow the clip down. Usually I slow it down to about 50%, and then there you go. It's slow now. Boom. So where more or less now that I've cut the video, I want to start where she's kind of looking off in the distance, and then I'll drag it here so it fits within my time and cut it right here. And so you guys can see how it fits in the timeline. And then in comparison to the old video, it's almost exactly the same. So that's just so you guys can go ahead and have a look on what this clip looks like. But that's pretty much it. Now the next thing I'm gonna go over is this little time ramp here. It comes in two parts really. So you saw that we slowed down a clip, and you saw that from here to here it's slow-mo, super fast, and back to slow-mo. That's called a time ramp. Okay, so in order to create a time ramp, which is what we have down here, we have a time ramp. So you guys can see it. That's what you have there. That is called a time ramp. And as you can see as a reference clip, it's this clip right here. You've got these little keyframes in, you've got little hills going on. So let's create that, let's recreate that right now. On top is the same clip that you'll see, and basically it's all slowed down already, so we've slowed it down to 50% of its speed. And in order to create the time ramp, I'm going to create a keyframe to show where I want the time ramp to begin and where I want it to end. So I'm gonna do that. I want it to start right around here. I'm gonna hit Command on my keyboard because I use Mac, and then it creates it. It's not exactly where, I'll zoom in a little bit more. Right there, I want it to start. And then I'd like for it to end right here where she comes all the way almost into frame. So I'll go ahead and add another keyframe right there. Now, it's as simple as just dragging this right here, dragging it up. You drag it up. I usually drag mine up to anywhere from 300 to 500% speed. And so right now I'm going to go to 500. So I'm at 500% speed. Boom. Now I got a time ramp. And so you guys can see what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Obviously it doesn't fit with my previous one because there's a lot of footage beforehand, so maybe I'll bring this one back just a little bit. The next thing you want to do is, you see how this is very harsh, they're very harsh lines, doesn't look anywhere near what our nice curve over here looks like. So what we're going to do to fix that is simple. We're going to expand these, and now you have a mountain or a hill, whatever you want to call it. And basically what this does is that it kind of eases in and out the effect. So it's not as harsh, it's not as quick and fast, and you're like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on. Now the last thing is, obviously you want them to be as smooth as possible. You toggle this little blue thing, you click on here up top, and it gives you the option to go ahead and smoothen it out. That just smooths the effect in and out a lot more. So I'm gonna kind of move this over here. Move this over here. So it looks very similar. Now, okay, this is exactly how you create a time ramp. The next part of creating a time ramp, or giving it that little extra oomph that I like to do and when I edit, is I like to add a directional blur to the time ramp so that it gives the appearance of motion. It just enhances it a lot more. So if you can see here in the playback, that little blur, it adds a lot. It's not just, this is what it would look like without it. So you guys can tell the difference. We just want to add the appearance of motion, and we want to enhance it. The way you do that is you go down here to your project bin, new item, you're gonna go to an adjustment layer, and then you'll get an adjustment layer, which is what I have here. And my adjustment layer, or one of my adjustment layers, is right over here. You click and drag and then cut it to wherever you want it. I started it and ended it on top of the time ramp. And then you go over here to your effects and presets, and you'd go to directional blur, and then you drag it on. Now mine's already dragged onto my clip, so I'm not gonna do it anymore. But once you just drag it on like that, you can also go in here and mess with the specifications, or you mess with the parameters of the effect. So here we have the direction and we have the blur length. Now the direction is kind of like the angle. So if you can kind of tell, especially here on her face, the angle is kind of up and down because the movement is up and down. The camera pans in a downward motion. So I kind of want the lines to be vertical like that. So that's why I didn't change the angle. The blur length is around 12. That's, I mean, it looks normal. Anything more than that, the image becomes a little too distorted. But I will change these parameters depending on my clip. And actually I wanted to show you guys further on in this video right here. There's another time ramp, which I showed you guys how to create, and it's the same thing. It's another directional blur. But if you'll notice, it's at a different angle. So you can also tell here on her face and on the tree, it's actually going in a diagonal form. And so the reason I did that is because it basically follows the camera movement. So if I go ahead and click here, my direction is now 30 degrees. So the angle is kind of there to fit that direction, which is something I do. And then I also just toggled the animation for the opacity to kind of ease in the effect. That way it wouldn't just show up out of nowhere and throw anybody off. So those are two little things that I added to the time ramps to just make them look a little bit more dynamic, and then go like that. The next really cool effect that we added here is a mask. It's a masking effect. Basically, a masking effect just reveals what's on top or underneath your clip. So if you play it, obviously you see the next clip being revealed slowly as this one is still playing. Now, the way to do that is you have to add a mask, which is right here. You'll see my mask is there. And then as I scroll up through the timeline, you'll see the mask move. This is done by basically animating the mask. You go frame by frame. So here you want it to look a certain way. Here you want move it, until you get to the end of the clip, revealing the rest of the clip. We can do a specific video for you guys on how to make a mask and the best ways to kind of do that, to use the tools you have at your disposal to use as awesome transitions. But this is just another one that we used for this video. And then that is pretty much it for effects, guys. We don't want to do anything too crazy. We don't want to bombard you with effects and presets and all that kind of stuff. We kind of kept it simple, just cut to music, stuff like that. For the intro and the outro, this is just some old footage that we had in our hard drives that we decided to use for credits, more than anything. Also, just again to remind you guys, this was all shot on iPhone 10. We just used a stabilizer and a little DJI Osmo to make sure the shots were nice and crispy. And then yeah, we use that as B-roll. If you guys want to know how we made the credit sequence, this underlaying footage right here, the vertigo, let us know. We'll do another quick tutorial on that, on how we got that footage as well, for it to look like we were moving backwards and stuff. And that's about it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. A huge shout out to Martha for being our model for the day. She was awesome. And just stay tuned for upcoming videos. We're going to be doing a Q&A for this video. If there's any questions that we didn't answer in this tutorial, please let us know, and we're going to do a follow-up Q&A with you guys. So any questions you have about editing, cameras, whatever it may be, drop it in the comments below, send it to us on Instagram, send it to us on Facebook, and we'll go ahead and do our best to try and answer those questions in the next Q&A video. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.